There's one moment in Gen V Season 2 that had every fan stop in their tracks when Polarity did the unthinkable. We all saw it. Cipher, the most terrifying new antagonist with mind-bending control abilities, had everyone under his thumb. But then, in Episode 6, Polarity broke free from Cipher's control and turned the tables on one of the most shocking confrontations of the entire series. Fans were left asking the same question. How the hell did he do that? How did Polarity resist Cipher's powers when no one else could? Was it just a fluke? Or is there something much deeper hiding in plain sight? What I'm about to break down might completely change how you see both Polarity and Cipher.
We don't know what his powers are because he doesn't have any.
And if this theory is right, then everything we thought we knew about Compound V and how powers even work in the Gen V universe could be turned upside down. Let's start with that epic scene from Episode 6. Cipher, as always, was in total control. His ability to manipulate others' minds had made him one of the most feared characters in the show, and we'd already seen what he did to Marie and the others. But Polarity's reaction was different. He didn't just resist Cipher's control, he reversed it. Cipher's smug expression shifted to panic in seconds when Polarity's powers surged back, sending him crashing through that massive window like a ragdoll. It wasn't just a fight scene. It was a revelation. Fans immediately started debating what could have happened. Some said maybe Polarity had some mental resistance training. Others suggested maybe Cipher's power was weakening. But none of those theories made sense. Not when we remember what Marie revealed earlier in the series. In one of the earlier episodes, Marie made a chilling discovery. She couldn't detect any traces of Compound V in Cipher's blood. At the time, that moment felt small, almost like a throwaway line. But Gen V has never been a show that drops random details. If Marie's observation was correct, then Cipher might not even be a traditional soup at all. If Cipher doesn't have Compound V in his system, then his powers aren't biological. They're artificial, which opens a Pandora's box of possibilities. What if Cipher's abilities don't come from V at all, but from technology? Think about it. If his control over others is rooted in some kind of neural implant, cybernetic enhancement, or tech-based augmentation, it would make perfect sense why Polarity could resist him, because Polarity's power is magnetism. His entire ability revolves around controlling metal, bending it, manipulating it, even feeling it in the environment around him. So if Cipher's so-called powers are actually tech-based, maybe some kind of microchip, neurotransmitter, or electromagnetic device, then Polarity would naturally have an advantage. He wouldn't just sense it, he could directly interfere with it. It's not a stretch either. Remember, the boys' universe, which Gen V is directly connected to, has always explored how science, tech, and corporate manipulation blend with superhuman biology. Vought International has been experimenting for decades, not just with Compound V, but with how to control it. We've seen mechanical enhancements, tracking implants, and tech that interacts with V-based powers before. So, if Cipher is a manufactured soup, one who's more machine than man, that could explain everything. Now, let's think about what happens during that confrontation again. Cipher tries to take control of Polarity's mind, but Polarity's magnetic field starts to distort the signal, that invisible energy Cipher uses to dominate others. Suddenly, that control link breaks. It's not because Polarity's mind is stronger. It's because his power literally disrupts the mechanism behind Cipher's ability. And then, once the control is broken, Polarity's instincts kick in. He redirects his magnetic energy, and what happens next is cinematic gold. Cipher gets flung backward, smashing through glass, and for the first time, we see him scared. Not just physically hurt, but terrified because he realizes his secret might be out. This raises a terrifying new possibility. What if Cipher's entire persona is built on a lie? What if he's not a soup at all, but a technological experiment designed to mimic the effects of Compound V, someone created or enhanced by Vought as a test subject for artificial power systems? If that's true, it changes everything we know about this season. Marie's inability to detect Compound V wasn't a glitch. It was the first clue that Cipher might be something else entirely. Maybe Vought has developed a way to replicate soup abilities using tech, bypassing the instability of Compound V. That would explain why Cipher's powers work differently, why he doesn't always show the same biological side effects that other soups have, and it might also explain why his control over others sometimes flickers, as if it depends on external signals or devices rather than natural ability. Now, let's talk about Polarity himself, because there's more to him than meets the eye. Polarity has always been one of the most fascinating characters in Gen V. On the surface, he's a confident, powerful soup, but we know that his body and mind are deteriorating. His headaches, his sudden mood swings, and his moments of disorientation all point to long-term compound V exposure. But what if those symptoms also play a part in how he resisted Cipher? Think about it. Polarity's powers manipulate electromagnetic fields, the same kind of frequencies that could potentially interact with or disrupt electronic implants. His constant instability might make him unpredictable to Cipher's control. Maybe Cipher's implant-based powers rely on reading and syncing to a person's neural frequencies, but Polarity's energy fluctuations throw that system into chaos. It's like trying to hack a computer that keeps short-circuiting. Eventually, the hacker gets fried, and that's exactly what happened. The moment Polarity's emotions flared, his powers surged, and that electromagnetic energy overloaded Cipher's neural link, effectively frying whatever system he uses to control others. The result? Cipher gets thrown across the room like a piece of scrap metal. But here's where it gets even more interesting. What if Polarity's resistance wasn't an accident at all? What if he knew exactly what he was doing? Polarity's not just some washed-up hero. He's been around long enough to understand how Vought operates. Maybe he's seen tech like this before. Maybe he recognized the signs. The way Cipher's control didn't feel organic. The way his energy seemed more mechanical than mental. So when Cipher tried to dominate his mind, Polarity didn't just fight back instinctively. He strategically disrupted the field, using his powers to interfere with the frequency itself. That's not luck, that's experience. If this theory holds up, it would completely reframe Polarity's character arc. Instead of being the aging soup on the brink of collapse, he becomes one of the few people capable of exposing Cipher's truth, and by extension, Vought's next-generation experiment. And it also opens up a massive narrative path for the rest of Gen V Season 2. If Cipher isn't powered by Compound V, then the entire team's approach to stopping him has to change. Marie and the others can't rely on traditional soup methods because they're not fighting biology, they're fighting technology. It's no longer just about raw power, but about understanding how this hybrid system works. That also means Polarity might become the key to defeating Cipher, not just because of his strength, but because of his ability to literally disrupt whatever tech gives Cipher his edge. Marie's blood manipulation could detect biological inconsistencies, but Polarity could disable the tech itself. Imagine those two teaming up, Marie locating the implant, Polarity destroying it with a pulse of magnetic energy. That's cinematic perfection waiting to happen. But let's zoom out for a second and think about what this means for the boys' universe as a whole. If Vought has found a way to give people powers without Compound V, the implications are enormous. They could create soldiers, politicians, or assassins who look like soups but are completely programmable. No more unpredictable personalities, no more genetic mutations, just pure, engineered obedience. Cipher could be the prototype for that next phase, a perfect weapon of control, both literally and metaphorically. And if Polarity just exposed that secret, you can bet Vought won't let it slide quietly. We might even see this moment ripple into The Boys Season 5. Imagine Butcher or Huey learning that Vaught's creating fake soups with tech. That would spark an entirely new kind of war. One not about superpowers, but about the ownership of humanity itself. Back in Gen V, though, the focus is more personal. Polarity's confrontation with Cipher isn't just a power struggle. It's a battle of identity. Cipher represents manipulation, control, and the artificial. Polarity represents raw, flawed humanity trying to stay grounded amid corruption. His ability to resist Cipher isn't just science, it's symbolism. It shows that no matter how much Vought tries to engineer perfection, the human element, emotion, willpower, chaos, can still break through. And if you think about the symbolism behind magnetism, it's even deeper. Magnets attract and repel. They can connect or destroy, depending on alignment. Polarity, in this sense, embodies balance. Cipher, on the other hand, thrives on imbalance, on dominating others. When those two forces collide, one built on nature and the other on artificial control, nature wins. That's why that moment hit so hard. It wasn't just one soup overpowering another. It was a metaphorical statement about the entire world of Gen V. The idea that authenticity, even when flawed, is stronger than control built on lies. So how did Polarity manage to resist Cipher's powers? The answer might not lie in his mind, but in the very essence of his ability. By tapping into his magnetic nature, consciously or not, Polarity disrupted Cipher's control system, one that might be built on technology rather than Compound V. And that one moment didn't just save him. It might have exposed the biggest secret in the Gen V universe. If Cipher's powers are artificial, then the line between soup and machine is about to blur forever. And with Polarity standing at the crossroads of that revelation, he could become the most important character in the fight against Vaught's future creations. For now, all we can do is wait for episode 7, but one thing's for sure. That window scene wasn't the end of Cipher's story. It was the beginning of something much bigger, something that could shake the foundation of the boys' universe forever. And honestly, I can't wait to see Polarity do it again.